Hey everybody, this is Afefe with Touch by Tarot. Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, I hope you will like what you see and subscribe and come back again. Today I'm going to do a reading past, present, and future on women's rights and what we can do in the wake of the decision by the Supreme Court that came down yesterday, destroying Roe versus Wade. I know there's been a lot of outcry. There's going to continue to be a lot of outcry, as it should be, around that development. For people like myself, who those of us who came up during the 60s and 70s, during the height of the feminist movement, this is certainly, it hits deep. It feels like outside of the political aspects of it, it's just something that fundamentally we believe in and we're brought up to believe in, and to suddenly have it so many years later be struck down, and it just it hits, it really hits. So I went to Spirit because I do believe that for all of the political activism that is surely taking place now and will continue to take place, the feminist empire will strike back, right? But I always, for my personal practice and peace of mind, I always go to Spirit and request the guidance of the higher sources, to keep my mind straight. And I'm hoping to offer that to you as well, some deeper insight, so that as we put this into perspective and plan on how to address it, we have a little more context, a little more texture built around it, as it were. I've got 3 stacks in front of me. And what I did was, I'm doing moon because we're coming up on that, on the new moon in Cancer on the 28th. I'm filming this on Saturday, the 25th. So I went to the moon, deeply feminine energy, right? Went to the moon, Mother Moon, tell me, what's happening here. So I've got all moon flavored decks in front of me. I've got the Queen of the Moon Oracle. I use that for 3 leader cards, past, present, future, for the predominant energy that the guides want to show us, okay, using that Queen of the Moon Oracle. And then I pulled from the Moonology Oracle. You're going to see some tarot from the Intuitive Night Goddess. You're going to see some tarot from the Moonchild Tarot. And then finally, you're going to see another oracle from the Eclipse Oracle. All right, let's go. The 3 leader cards that I have in front of me, you guys, very interesting. Past, present, future. Check out what came. I haven't seen the cards below. I will reveal those and interpret along with you during this taping. But I started out and I asked Spirit to build on each one of these 3 cards that came first from the Queen of the Moon Oracle. Queens, right? Queens rule. The past, we have attraction. Now, check it out, you guys. There's someone sitting there looking at something coming. Attraction. We knew this was coming ever since the leaking of the documents that took place, that we knew this decision was coming down, and we knew that Roe versus Wade was going to get reversed. It was just a matter of time, just a matter of, having it come out officially. So Spirit is saying, in the past, there was this coming, and we knew that it was coming, and it's not about us trying to attract it, but it's that events were in motion, things were in motion, that it was coming toward us, attraction toward us. In the present, our leader card is balance. See how she's working on some stuff there, and her mind is just going, right? And that is very accurate. I love when Spirit does this and when the guides do this, because it tells, it informs us that we're on to some energy here, and they are with us, and they're speaking to us in this modality for the intent and purposes of this video. All right. So balance, meaning for all of the emotional upheaval, for all of the outrage, justifiably. So there is this need for balance. There is this need to double back a little bit, take a breath, and figure out what is the response. What is the response? What hangs in the balance, and how do we address this? So that's in the present. We're going to get some cards around that. And then in the future, Now get ready. We started the past with attraction, and the future says release. Look at that. Look at the dynamic between the two different images there. The one where she's sitting and watching it coming because we knew that it was going to happen. And here it's like, oh, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. I cannot wait. All right. Future, release. So there is energy clearly that is going to go out. There is collectively, I think there's going to be a tremendous surge of here is what is not acceptable, and here is what we are prepared to do to speak up in response to this, to mobilize in response to this, and always from a spiritual perspective to really gather our wits. That's what we're doing right now, to gather our wits to decide what are our best steps. Not just reacting in anger, because that will only get us so far. Gotta play smart. This is chess, you guys. This is not checkers. This is chess. Okay. So now I'm going to look at the cards that came beneath that I have not seen. I'm going to reveal them with you. As regards to the near past, the recent past, in this attraction card, we have the Six of Swords, Seven of Pentacles, Divine Wisdom, the King of Pentacles. A new romantic cycle begins, but in a political context, I get that, and we'll get there in a moment. And then illumination, clarity, revelation, enlightenment, awareness, and understanding. Things started becoming clear. We knew, again, like we said, attraction. We watched this coming toward us. We knew that this was about to happen. And so sure enough, that illumination, things were, when the documents were leaked, we knew things were coming clear, and we knew, but they would see how this sort of darkness around it, because it wasn't right there in our faces yet, but we knew. Clarity, revelation, enlightenment, awareness, and understanding. We knew that it was coming. We knew that it was coming. Six of Swords, the idea that, there is something ahead of us. Seven of Pentacles, that had to be prepared for, that had already been put in motion. Very often when we have a Six of Pentacles, it is something that is a development around us that we have to take a moment. It's not in its ripeness and fullness yet. It's not complete yet. The decision it was not handed down yet. But all of the elements to shape it were in place long before those documents were even leaked, right? And there were those who were thinking about how to proceed. There was a lot of strategy involved here. It wasn't just about, these, I don't want to use bad language on this forum, but it wasn't just about SCOTUS doing what they did and going so far right in their decisions. It wasn't just about that. There were a lot of people behind the scenes beyond SCOTUS who decided, who had this in the works for years. That's what that Seven of Pentacles is about. A lot of seeds got planted. A lot of meetings took place. A lot of strategy took place. And now we have King of Pentacles. A lot of strategy took place. King of Pentacles. And this is about, Spirit is saying here, in the recent past, and all of this being attracted toward us at this point in time, this was about control and power being out of whack. And this divine wisdom that comes with it is saying it's out of balance. That's this new romantic cycle begins. The powers that be on the far right have fallen in love with their own power. This makes sense to me. Even if you want to look at those scales as in the scales of justice, the scales of what is right and wrong. But this romantic cycle begins, I think, in the context of what has happened here with the striking down of Roe versus Wade. and this King of Pentacles with divine wisdom, there is a conviction. Um, Spirit is affirming for us, there is this conviction in falling in love with one's power, and the idea that they can literally um, have power and dominion over someone else's life. I want to make sure that I'm on the right track with that. Spirit, is that what I'm seeing here in regards to the past? With this King of Pentacles, divine wisdom, and this Libra energy, a new romantic cycle, like they're drunk on power. That's what this was about, just being drunk on power. Freedom. Yes. They're drunk on power. The reverse, meaning our freedom being taken away from us, right? That's fundamentally what happened here. They have dominion over our freedom. Warrior of Pentacles, exactly. The Knight of Pentacles. This is, and notice how all this Pentacles, earthly energy, how we are able to have agency over our bodies. Pentacles very often come up in relationship to our bodies, our physical selves, physical matter, earthly matter. The freedom to determine what we're going to do with our bodies. And so they got drunk on it. They got drunk on power and decided they have that power and that right to influence, literally influence, and the idea that this particular SCOTUS group could be the ones who could undo something that had been almost a half a century, literally, as part of our law in this country, in America, for those of you who are watching outside when I say this country. So, thank you, Spirit. You know, crystal clear. This is what was being attracted to us, and it was being attracted because they wanted the fame, the recognition, the, you know, operating from a position of twisted power and freedom, having the ability to run amok. Because this King of Pentacles is about who has, you know, a figure or larger figures in the context of SCOTUS, having this ability, you know, it is within my domain to do this. It is within my domain to exercise this control. And they fell in love with it. All right, in the present, remember our leader card was balance. Thinking it over, mulling it over. And notice she's not a spring chicken. This is a mother. This reminds me of someone who could, you know, who could have been active and very involved with that feminist movement. And they're going to be the ones I think we're going to hear from some people who are going to help us, who were able to address it then, and, you know, during the height of the feminist movement, during the 60s and 70s, etc. I think there are going to be some elders who are going to step up and help maintain that balance, or establish order, establish balance, establish organization. We have the Eight of Wands, the Two of Wands, very much in alignment. The Knight of Pentacles, the Five of Pentacles. A lot of body stuff, I told you guys. Step out of your comfort zone in the North Node, and fleeting, short-lived, quick vanishing. That's a really interesting card to come. Fleeting, short-lived, quick, and vanishing. I'm going to pull another card on that. I want a little more on that. That's juicy. All right. So, balance. That's our leader card here. In the present time, right now, we're processing this information. We're just, you know, we're mobilizing, we're deciding, we're organizing. That's what this Eight of Wands. Quick, moving. I think this is also around that fleeting, meaning okay, I got it. The initial reaction, which is a lot of outrage and a lot of anger and a lot of, you know, feeling gut punched and wanting to punch back, right? That's what's happening. There's a lot of, and this is coming up in Wands, that fiery energy, that movement, that mobilizing, that protests, that all of that, right? You know, back at you kind of energy. So that's what's happening right there. The Two of Wands is coming together with a vision of what needs to happen now. Twos, very much having to do with balance in the system of tarot, right? And in numerology. So twos having to do with partnership, balance, how a vision will be formed collectively in an organized fashion to address this. The Knight of Pentacles, meaning it's going to be a long haul. This is going to be a very, very long haul. And the Five of Pentacles coming with it is confirming that. There is this sense of abandonment. There's a sense of, even in the midst of all of this mobilization that we're seeing and discussion that's happening, this quick, when it says short-lived, though, I still want to go back to that because there's something else. I feel like there's something else Spirit wants us to know about this. And it could even be that their sense of victory, you know, those powers that be that have run amok, that their sense of victory is going to be short-lived, given the response that is going to happen over time. Knight of Pentacles moves slow. This could be, remembering, this is summer of 2022. We don't have presidential elections again until 2024. Next couple of years are going to be really, really interesting. And developments are going to be interesting. But it's got to be slow moving. You know, it's going to be step by step by step by step. Chess, not checkers. All right? Sense of abandonment, sense of how do we, feeling outnumbered, feeling betrayed. Who can we trust? How do we find that? How do we build toward that with that Two of Wands? And stepping out of your comfort zone in that North Node, remembering North Node energy is about your soul purpose and living and going to your true north, going toward your purpose. You know, not letting anything deter you from your purpose. But very often it is something that makes you uncomfortable. It is the thing that requires you to grow, to step out of your comfort zone. Very much that is what the North Node energy is about. So for many of us who decide to become a part of this mobilization, who decide to take part in, you know, readjusting this balance and pulling some of this power back to its rightful owners, it's going to require stepping out of our comfort zones. The Warrior of Cups, absolutely. The Warrior of Cups. This is being able to come out of the emotional response, justifiable emotional response that many of us are having to this issue. And allowing that to pass quickly so that we can begin to build a greater, more strategic vision, balance. Spirit of Cups. Thank you, Spirit. Because Knights, the warrior in this deck, it refers to knights. So this is that emotional energy right now that's just very, very high right now, very heightened. Things are moving and people are speaking and, you know, there's a lot of that at play. But the Spirit of Cups, the King, or in this, because this is a feminist deck, the Queen of Cups, coming as the Spirit of Cups, the highest cups we can get, is saying this balancing that's going to happen in the present, as we process and adjust and mobilize in this information, with this information, it's going to be not from a stance of fighting because it's coming in cups, but it's going to be from a stance of a conviction of taking care of one another, loving women, loving young women, loving old women, respecting what womanhood is really about. Gay, straight, black, white, zebra stripes, rich, poor, Latino, Asian, does not matter. It absolutely does matter. Let me word that a different way. Collectively, the feminist spirit, cups, also remembering this is Cancer season. We've got a new moon in Cancer. I may do another taping just dedicated to that per my usual. But Cancer, new moon in Cancer. We will mobilize not with, you know, AR-15s or whatever, you know, whatever the high-powered, not that way, but from from a position of knowing that we are the creators of life. Those King of Pentacles that are sitting up there drunk on power right now, excuse my language, but they came between a woman's legs. They entered this earth through a woman's legs. I'll stop right there. So this is a reclamation of power, and that fleeting that we saw is the angry part of it, the reactionary part of it. We're going to get that in balance. We're going to get that in check right away. And for those of us who have been sitting back watching it come, knowing that it was coming, but still the reality of it wasn't quite there yet, it's going to require us to step outside of our comfort zone. On a practical level, that could be something as simple as joining in a protest. Even, if you haven't quite gotten comfortable being around other people yet, that could be a part of stepping out of your comfort zone. I'm not encouraging that. I'm saying, everybody should do as they are led. But from a spiritual perspective, that is what the guides are saying, is that it's going to require people. This is a wake up, a serious wake up, and it's going to require stepping out of that comfort zone. All right. Future, our leader card. Remember that release that we saw. Let's see what's coming here. King of Pentacles, a different King of Pentacles from what we saw in the past. Ooh, I can't wait. The Strength card. The Three of Swords, the King of Swords. Nothing is yet set in stone. Don't we know that? And Discernment, inner knowing, seeing the true nature of something or a situation, subtle and distinctive details, intuition, feminine, instinctive understanding without conscious reasoning. There will be, so I said, approaching this whole situation from a higher perspective, higher consciousness, and spiritual guidance. This release is also going to be understanding. Spirit is saying, we know that there is a vital part that we, meaning Spirit, will have to play in this in order for this to be addressed and in order for change to come down the road. Long time coming, you guys. This is not a quick oops, our bad. We'll take it back. We'll change it back to the way it was. Chess, not checkers. But Spirit is saying here in that release, discernment, meaning there will be, for among women globally and certainly within the United States, there will be a fundamental shift in how we are perceiving who is in power and what that power should entail as it pertains to our individual rights, reproductive and otherwise. The Three of Swords says, Spirit's just keeping it real. This was a setback, and the scars of this sort of betrayal. And our idea that certain things that have been so fought for so hard in this country, that they could be taken away. That things that we thought, surely we have put a big check mark next to that, and it's done. It's set in stone. And I just thought of this as I said that. Nothing is set in stone. This was a harsh lesson. This was a harsh lesson that's going to stay with us for a long time. We got to step up to it, accept it, see it for what it is, using that discernment and releasing any naivete, releasing any attachment that we've had, or attraction that we've had to, sitting back and allowing something else, trusting in something else to look out for our greatest good. Huge wake-up call there, discernment. And yeah, it's going to leave a scar in our collective psyche around what is democracy anymore. What is, there are women in SCOTUS who okay. All right. We have very, very strong authoritative energy that comes here in that King of Swords and the King of Pentacles, even though they call it Spirit of Pentacles in this deck. So these two kings are coming mentally and physically. Checkers. I'm sorry, chess, not checkers. And strength. Leadership. Being able to find creative solutions, taking the high road in terms of that cups energy that we saw, not fighting this in a destructive manner, not doing what they have done, but doing it in a manner that is meant to yield the results that we will want long term. This is showing up and voting in, whether you are conservative or liberal or independent or someplace in between, but this is about voting in Ace of Pentacles. Yes, this is, I was just double checking myself as I said that. Voting in people whose values mirror our own, right? Not so much about a political affiliation, or just judging based on that, identifying ourselves one-to-one based on that. But this is about values, and this is about a rebirth, because we're back to the ones. We saw a lot of pentacles in this reading. These are things that have impacted us, our bodies, our well-being, our sense of democracy, our sense of freedom that came up. And this is an opportunity, a hard-fought, slow-moving chess moves on a board, on a very big board, to start over again, to readjust. All right, you guys? Let me know what you think. And we're stronger together, right? All right. Take care. I'll talk to you soon.